My name is Kevin Storm Jorgensen. I am a senior training and development specialist for General Dynamics NASCO, as well as a university lecturer at San Diego State University. I graduated the Learning Design Technology program in 2008. My role evolved over time to include a lot of consulting because there was a lot of different departments and organizations that required some expertise and training, and but I didn't have the time to dedicate as a full project to develop their courseware. So I would step in, give them some ideas, consult them on their projects, give them the right direction and some tools, and let them then develop out the projects as they see fit. And that has been a majority of my role in the past couple months now, but things change all the time. You got to be very agile to whatever the needs of the organization are. I may be training. In fact, in the coming months, I will be doing more stand-up instruction. But right now, I am developing curriculum and also consulting. So it's a little bit of everything. You got to be ready for everything in these roles. So there was a journey I took that led me to learning about the LDT program at SDSU. I was previously, getting into this industry and career, I was working in photography. I owned my own photo studio and my own business. And I found that I was working ridiculous hours. I was working 80+ hours a week, constantly running around, busy. I was sleeping in my office at times, and I was expecting a second child. And I thought that this was not the way that I wanted to be. I was really living to work and not working to live. So I wanted to change. And so I dropped all that and went and took a look around, see what other options were available for me. And I found this industry of learning design, instructional design and training. And I was familiar with it. I mean, I had done some teaching. I was a summer camp program director where I taught children. So I had a little bit of expertise in this area, but nothing formalized. And I started joining a lot of professional organizations in the San Diego area. I am a native San Diegan. I met John Alexander, who was a manager of instructional design for the College of Extended Studies at San Diego State University. And he mentioned the LDT program and how I might be a good fit for it. So that piqued my interest a bit. I looked into it and I said, hey, this is a fantastic program that seems to serve a lot of what I'm looking for, a lot of the needs I was looking to meet professionally for professional development. It was nice that it was an online program so that it can work around my family life. I didn't need to go into campus, which was really handy for me. And I had very little experience learning online. And I saw the trends that this is where education was going, was online education. And so I said to myself, well, if I'm going to be working in this industry of online education, what better way to experience that than learn about it through online education? So I immediately jumped onto the program as soon as I could, as soon as I kind of pieced it all together and said, this is what I want to do. And away I went. And it's been a fantastic journey ever since. Some of the skills and experiences that the Learning Design Technology program gave me was a thorough and deep understanding of what learning theory, the theoretical application of learning really is. But prior to joining the program, it was a bit of mystery behind it. It seemed kind of like a little bit of magic of what it takes to be an effective teacher and an effective educator. You always hear those stories of the sage on the stage, of the wise teacher that always was looking a little bit beyond the learner and would surprise them with the learning. I think back at the movie The Karate Kid, where his sensei was having him do the painting and the sanding, and Ralph Macchio's character didn't see the point of it all until he put it all together and saw this teacher really knew what he was talking about. It was a mystery to it, and that always kind of excited me and made me very curious. And so the LDT program demystified that for me. It showed me that there is actual technical scientific evidence to support these mystifying arts that I always thought were too beyond my expertise. This was more like a science and art. It is definitely an art, but there is science behind it. And that's what really it did to prepare me to work in this industry. Talking with a colleague of mine, and he was talking about some some ideas on how to make our learning program more efficient. And he mentioned this book that he had just read called the 6 Ds, the 6 disciplines. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Roy Pollack. I was just talking with him. And it just blew him away. He's like, what? And that was really memorable to me because that showed that was like an indication that SDSU, the program, the LDT program, it's got this it connects people, connects professional people together that have gravitas, that have credentials, that have authority. And I just had this idle meeting. We were discussing with this author, and I knew he was kind of a big deal. But then to go in and immediately, I'm talking, it was like less than 20 minutes after the meeting ended, I was talking with my colleague, and he brought him up, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I just met with him, and yeah, he is a fantastic guy. He's got some great literature on learning, and if we follow some of those practices, then I'm sure we'll have a great program. And I felt like I could speak with authority and gravitas because I was just talking with the author. So that always comes to mind. That was something that it wouldn't have been possible without being involved in the learning design and technology program at SDSU. So I was always concerned with, is this information really going to apply? And so that was a big challenge for me. I was always second guessing. It's like when you say, hey, when am I ever going to need to know how to use trigonometry in real life, sort of thing. That's kind of thoughts that were going through my head as I was taking the classes. So I'd say that was a big challenge. But what the LDT program did was connect me and other members of my cohort with alum and programs and organizations outside that allowed me to, and all of us, to apply that knowledge in the place that we were directed, particularly with the Association for Talent Development. With San Diego State's connections with them, we were able to connect that way and learn from actual industry professionals that were working and see that, oh, this stuff does work. It is being used. We're not just learning it to learn something. We're learning it because it is actually going to be applied, and that we're going to be able to speak the same language with other professionals in this field. And that was a challenge, but there was a solution to it that SDSU presented. So I'd say that was the biggest challenge, but it ended up being really beneficial. It was, all challenges are really opportunities for greater improvement. So something that someone can expect to get out of the LDT program is a greater insight of how we all learn, including yourself. And that is incredibly helpful for people that consider themselves lifelong learners. The learning ends up becoming not only a profession, but a hobby, and a passionate hobby. And so if you want to be passionate about something, or you already are passionate about learning, then the LDT program will just further that passion, further your abilities to become more of a learner. And that is something that no one could ever take away from you. That is something that lives with you every single day. In everything you do, you start looking at things in different ways. You start experiencing life in different ways. And that is one of the big impacts that the LDT program has given me. Even when I go out to see my kid's soccer game, I'm now analyzing it for instructional content and how to train soccer. It's just now second nature. And so it's really preparing me to be not only a better instructor, instructional designer, teacher, but also a better father, a better coach, a better husband, and better just about everything. Because knowing how people learn and how I learn, I know that there's nothing out of my reach. If something seems too complicated, I know, what, there's a path. There's a path to learn and figure things out. And that is one of the big gains that I've gotten out of the LDT program, and I'm sure everyone can get out of the LDT program. Now, something that would really help someone in succeeding through the program is have some way or something to use the information as quickly as possible. Get projects, not just in the program, but try to find some ways to apply it outside it. If you're currently working in the field, great, that's a perfect place. But if you're not, you're looking to get into the industry, then find somewhere that you can volunteer and help and apply this information, because that is the best way to use it, is just go and do it. I was once asked a question about designing e-learning and what's the best way to get started. I just said, do it. Just get the program that you need, the tools necessary to create the e-learning, and just start doing it. Just, it doesn't matter if you have a specific project that's been thrown at you or specific work responsibility. You just go out and do it. And the same applies to everything in the LDT program. All the information, all the training, all the learning that you have, just go out and apply it. And as quickly as possible, and as much capacity as you can, even if it's in your day-to-day life. Try to figure out something on how to teach somebody in your family or a friend how to cook, or how to maybe even make like a YouTube video series on how you want to teach something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be learning. It could be a hobby of yours, whatever the case. Get out there and just start teaching, start creating instruction, using what is being taught while you're learning it, and that'll make things incredibly easy. It'll develop your passion even more for learning, and you may even be producing something that's going to have some kind of value, not only to yourself but to others, that could then turn into a career right there. So just in your learning, you can turn your learning into a career. So that is the best thing I would recommend doing for those that are involved in the program, is just apply that knowledge as quickly, as soon, and as much as possible.